Oh, hey there, YouTube. It's Petey Two Finger. We're going to be talking about drugs. So, sometime around when the war in Afghanistan ended, somewhere in there, all the heroin dried up on the streets. There isn't any heroin anywhere in the world. What has replaced it is fentanyl. Fentanyl is a really powerful painkiller. It's really cheap, and they don't have to grow, like they used to have to grow poppies to make heroin. Now they can just make this fentanyl. It's really cheap. It's super powerful, but it wears off really quickly. And when they switched over, they found the junkies were coming back saying, "Hey man, I just fixed an hour ago and I'm already in withdrawal. What's up?" So somebody got the bright idea to start putting a tranquilizer, mixing that in with the fentanyl, and now this is making its way into the drug supply. It hasn't gone all over the place yet, but it's in certain areas it's taken hold, and it's a huge problem, specifically Kensington area in Philadelphia. And it's popping up all over. As far as I know, I've heard that it's making its way. The issue being that the heroin would last like 8 hours and this fentanyl wears off right away and the junkies can't handle it. They would have to be injecting themselves all day, repeat over and over and over again, and it's expensive. So somebody got the bright idea to put this animal tranquilizer called zylazine, and this is what really screws people up. It's not for human consumption, so they can't help you get off of it. They can't help you if you're overdosed. They can't treat you. There's no treatment for any of it. If you're on xylazine, and they're getting addicted to it now. It lasts. It's super powerful, and it knocks you out. Just knocks you down, and you're out for like 8 hours. And then when they wake up, they're the opiate, the fentanyl, has worn off 7 hours earlier, so they're totally in the throes of withdrawal when they wake up. The only problem is now they have the fentanyl, which is like it's this short half life, so they get to keep. And the xylazine is not for human consumption. It has no way of working its way out of your system. So it forces its way out and creates massive lesions that cause necrosis in the skin, which is rotting flesh. So all of the heroin addicts that are using this tranq dope, they have these huge sores, and the only way to deal with it is to amputate the limb. So when I was a kid in the 80s, it was like, oh, drugs, you could party, and people were doing cocaine and sniffing stuff. And now it's like if you sniff the wrong thing and it's fentanyl, you'll die. Fentanyl can, if you sniff it, it could kill you like that. And then they're putting this tranq that it gives you these lesions that once you get one of those lesions, that skin doesn't stop dying. It's dead, rotten flesh that spreads. So, like I saw an interview today with a guy, his mouth was blue from paint. He was huffing paint and he was shooting himself up. He had a spot of black, rotten flesh. They had it blurred out, but you could tell it was black on his leg, this big. And he was sticking himself with a needle. And he said he had been in the hospital 15 times and they can't help him. They can't give him anything for his addiction because this. So it's so serious now, like the rules of the game of drug addiction have changed. There is no more heroin, it's all fentanyl. And the other hard drugs that are out there are these designer, like Flocka, and these like really just evil, evil, evil drugs. So educate yourself. If you know people who they think like, oh, this heroin, you can educate them. Share this video, talk about it. Educate yourself. There is no more heroin. It doesn't exist. You cannot get it. It's all fentanyl. And then they're putting tranq in it. So it seems to me this is going to be a means to an end, and eventually society, like what I'm telling you about, everyone's going to know. Eventually, like you would want your dare officer telling your kids this information so they would know you can't even sniff it. Like you think, oh, I'll just sniff, as long as I only have a little bit and I only do it once a week, I won't get addicted. No, no. It's not like that anymore. And people don't put a loaded gun to their head and pull the trigger unless they don't care about their life. And when you get to a point where you're in so much pain, you'll do anything. And that's what fentanyl, the drug, is. It's the greatest painkiller. It's more powerful than heroin. They use it in combat. They give you fentanyl because it'll kill the pain. The only thing is you have to just keep administering it because it wears off so fast. That's why it's good for that. But as a drug to choose to abuse on the street, it's terrible. Like anyone with a rudimentary layman's education about chemistry would look at this chemical and say, that's one we could use for the junkies. You would never, ever. And the idea that they went with zylazine as the problem solver, the secret ingredient to start adding to the fentanyl is just mind-numbingly, unless you're trying to kill everybody. And the golden age of junk is gone, because if you know about heroin, it's not like alcohol or any of the other drugs. A person can develop a habit, and as long as they don't get infected from the dirty needle, it doesn't do anything to your body. You can keep using it. Yeah, it builds a tolerance, but the sky's the limit. You could use heroin until you're 110 years old and you die from old age. That's not the case anymore. The rules of the game have changed. So look into the Kensington scene, look into the chemical zylazine, the tranq dope, learn about flocka, learn about these designer drugs where they're changing the molecule every time that the authorities in the United States find out what this drug is. They make it illegal, and then in the lab overseas, they just do a chemical, they rearrange it a little bit, come up with a new drug. And typically those things have a horrific, like they have no way of knowing the horror of it until it's been widely dispersed into the populace and people have gone online and told their stories. Said, yeah, I started taking this stuff, and next thing you know, I was hooked on it. And then, I woke up in jail one day and they told me that I, cannibalized my family, cut my own parts of my body off and ate them. This stuff is happening. It's happening. So, learn about the K2 epidemic in the prisons, how they were putting this liquid on the people would write a letter and it was soaked in K2, which was supposedly synthetic marijuana, and it isn't. It makes people go completely bonkers. And they were saying it's synthetic weed. It's evil. This stuff is evil. The rules of the game have changed. So obviously, people, they get, like, this starts with parenting. Like, people, you make the world a better place on the sweat of your own brow. You get rid of your own addictions. You don't have kids unless you're ready, and you raise them right. You don't sexually abuse your kid. Or if the kid tells you it was sexually abused, you listen to them. This type of stuff. People don't put loaded guns to their head and pull the trigger. The only people who go after these hard drugs are people that they just don't care about their own life anymore because of the fact that they're carrying around this weight from pain, when you're living with pain, emotional duress, when you feel like life has done nothing but kick you in the teeth over and over again and you can't take it anymore, people will turn to what gives them relief. And a lot of times that'll start off with a little bit of alcohol, a little bit of weed. Nowadays, if it ends up with, this fentanyl that's been cut with xylazine, well, you just signed yourself off to a really nasty way to die. Necrosis. Your own flesh betrays you and rots on your body, and there's no way back from that. So, the only way back from it is to amputate it. So this is really important stuff. Talk to your kids about this. Ultimately, a well society, if we do what we're supposed to do as people, as human beings, we raise our offerings properly, we won't have to worry so much about them. I mean, yeah, kids rebel. And that's what's so dangerous about it, is the fact that this kid's going to want to act up on a party on a Friday night. Well, who knows what they're going to wind up with in front of them. It's not going to be the same thing that I was partying with back in the 80s. It could be one of these, horrific Flocka or xylazine, fentanyl, you name it. None of it's good. It's all evil. And I like mind bending the fact that it's other human beings who are supplying this and then sleeping like babies, I guess, just to make money. So it's all just absolutely bonkers. And people, if you walk up to someone and say, "Did you know there's no heroin anymore anywhere?" They're going to look at you like you're singing Looney Tunes. People don't know. People are unaware of this. And I'd really like to know who's making, why is it that all of a sudden xylazine is everywhere? It's not just in Kensington. It's all over the world. It's popping up all over. But this is what you do now. Why is that? Who signed off on that? Because somebody did. That's just the way. I can't think that, this is a fad and everybody's going to want it. Because why would you want to put xylazine in your body? Why would you ever want to fuck with that? If you knew what I told you, that you were going to wake up in screaming withdrawal, that this stuff was just going to lay you out on the street like a jellyfish for 8 hours, and then when you woke up, you were going to be in the throes of withdrawal, and then the only way it can come out of your body is to leave a necrotic, gaping open wound, a sore, a black death, leprosy. And there's no way to treat any of this. They can't treat the withdrawal. They can't treat the addiction. And fentanyl, this drug it's such a hyper half-life. Anybody with a rudimentary understanding of chemistry would look at this drug and say, that's a good candidate for abuse. They would go, are you crazy? Would never want to use that drug. You would have to just keep using it. So, the golden days of junk are gone. And I think the sooner we as a society face the reality and people educate their children, the much greater chance that we're going to have less people laying around like jellyfish. Because we really don't need that. We really don't. We don't need AI to write jingles for us. We need jobs, we need housing, and we need health care. Right? Pretty simple, isn't it? Okay, you guys, share this video. This is really an important thing to talk about. You don't have to share my video. Educate yourself, make your own, If what I did here could take one person and make them think twice, my job is done. Hug your pets and peace.